guys, welcome to another video. Today we're reviewing Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. This film came out in 1986 and was directed by Tom McLoughlin and stars Tom Matthews and C.G. Graham. Now before we start with that like button, subscribe to the post notification bell so you can get notified for every video. Let's just start. Let's start talking about the good. So the opening sequence for this film is Jason coming back to life. That's the title, Jason Lives. He comes back to life, and that sequence is awesome. He comes back to life in an awesome way. I'm not going to spoil how he comes back to life because for me, it was pretty entertaining, but it was just awesome. The title sequence for this film, I thought it was fantastic. It's not like the other Friday the 13th films. All the Friday the 13th films for me have entertaining opening credit sequences. So this one does have an opening credit sequence that is pretty entertaining. The score for this film, especially for those opening credits, as usual, is very unique. Sort of like the other films, but slightly different at the same time. But I found it unique, and it works for that opening sequence. There are some hilarious sequences within this film, some having to do with some characters are funny, I guess, just a bit, but this film is... Friday the 13th films are what I like to call B-movies, and they're not the best movies, but they're entertaining. And this film has a lot of hilarious sequences that probably don't mean to be hilarious, but to the viewer, it's pretty funny. There's one sequence, the military sequence, that is just hilarious. It's just Jason versus a whole bunch of military guys, and it's just fun and dumb and very entertaining. There is a reference to Nancy from, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, but I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to spoil what the reference is, but it's in the film, of course, and I thought it was a great reference. There's also a tiny reference to Han Solo, of course, from Star Wars A New Hope. I'm not going to spoil what he says, but again, I love Star Wars, and that was a great reference. The third act of the film is a lot of fun, and it's action-packed. It's just Jason. Look, Jason Voorhees is obviously very iconic, and this film is, in the franchise where it starts to pick up and get fun and not serious anymore, because this film is far from serious. This film is just dumb fun, and that third act is just awesome. It's fun and action-packed. The final battle between Jason Voorhees and, of course, Tommy Jarvis, I loved it. That battle sequence, or that action sequence, whatever you want to call it, it takes place on a lake, and there's fire. What more could you want? Jason Voorhees versus Tommy Jarvis on a lake with fire. It's awesome. Of course, not one of the best looking fights of all time, but for a Friday the 13th film, it was pretty awesome. The ending sequence is underwater, and these underwater sequences in the Friday the 13th films, I think they're actually decent because you can actually see what's going on. And it's not some shaky camera thing that horror films like to do, but it's just very cool to look at because, it's underwater, first of all. And, back in the 80s, they didn't really have that much technology, especially for this film. They had a very, very low budget for this film, but that underwater sequence, I thought it looked pretty good. I guess the only bad thing I have to say about this film is that, of course, the characters, usual disposable horror film characters, definitely nowhere near some of the best characters in horror films. But to me, I didn't really care about the characters. I was just looking to have a fun and entertaining time watching this film, and that's what I got. So, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, is an enjoyable slasher film. For me, it was a pretty good Friday the 13th film, and I highly recommend it to all horror fans. And I'm going to give Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, a B-. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the post notification bell so you can get notified for every video. I'm Peter. Thank you for watching.